All right, welcome to the August transportation, LoCac transportation meeting for August 18th. Um, we're just going to do a quick roll call. David
Here,
Chinney,
here,
Ted Blockley,
Here,
Seamus is not here, Jim Hale,
here,
Lynette,
Here,
Tom Cross, no, and Julia Wallers is no. Um,
and Trish and
Julia,
Jeff
what
are
was
a
that?
no. Trish and Jeff are a no as well.
Yes, Trish and Jeff sent in that they were not going to be here, so I knew they wouldn't be here. Julia got a job at Cal Poly. She is now their director of parking and transportation. I think that's her title, something like that, which is a very cool job and right in her, wheelhouse. So congratulations to her. I think that might curtail some of her activities here, or maybe not. We'll see. I mean, she's just getting started, right? So I'm sure we'll hear more about that. Um, I have a couple of announcements. Uh, one is the Kidical Mass. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I think here it is. All righty. I'm going to share this. So the last one of these we did was a huge success down in Baywood. We're going to do a repeat. We had about 150 kids, and this one will be on the 29th, again at 10 o'clock down on, they're going to meet on 2nd Street um, on the corner of 2nd and Santa Maria, kind of where Thai Bounty used to be. And now it's just, well, there's a vacant lot there. So that's where they're going to meet. Again, it's going to be, all ages friendly. It's going to be right around the Baywood area, so it's relatively flat. Um, and I'm really expecting a lot of turnout for this event, which is super cool. So these things are all supported through Bike Slow County and bike education. And of course LoCac. So we're going to keep doing these as long as we people show an interest. So just to spread the word on that right there. And then the other announcement I have is Meg Siphon. How many of you actually, Ted, probably not you or David because you're relatively new, but Lynette, did you know Meg Siphon?
I knew her name. I can't say I knew her personally, but I read the obituary.
Yeah. So Meg lived down in Sunset Terrace, and she was the one who really started the effort to put in the separated bike pedestrian path on Los Osos Valley Road. She went to SlowCog, she was working with SlowCog, and that's how that kind of got on the map. Of course, it's in our Los Osos community plan, but she was recognized as being the person to really start the momentum to get that bike path done. And she was a part of the transportation committee for a while, but she got cancer and was ill for many years. And there were times when she would want to come and participate or maybe just listen, but it really all depended on how she was feeling at that time. And she passed away a few weeks ago. So it was very sad because she was a great advocate for our community. So I just wanted to mention her, and I did talk to John D'Annunzio at SlowCog, and I said, John, if we ever get this bike pedestrian path built, I would like to name it after Meg. And he said, agreed. So fingers crossed, we can get that done and we can have a really great ceremony about that. I understand there's a memorial for Meg in September. I don't know any details. They haven't been shared. So I'll be watching out for that. But I just wanted to mention her because she was very influential in, working towards safe routes to school.
And I'll
What,
just
what's
chime
Meg's
in,
last name?
Syphon, Syfan.
Fan. Syfan.
Okay.
And her husband's Rio. Um, I
Right.
just
Rollins
Rye, yeah,
Siphon, but he
Rollins,
goes by
yeah, he goes by
Rice,
Rye. Yes.
Rys.
Yes, their dog is Rio, sorry.
Yes, Rio. They had two little dogs. We would see them
And
all the time.
I just wanted to add that to Deborah's point, Meg was a tireless advocate and very involved in the community. Not only was she involved in helping try to raise awareness of the need for the bike path on Los Osos Valley Road and pedestrian path, but she worked for the S&T Water Company,
Right.
the local water company for her neighborhood, and was very instrumental in that. So, her level of commitment and activity in the community is to be cherished and remembered, and something to be looked up to.
Well said, Jim. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Okay, take a deep breath and we'll move on to our agenda. I did send out the handbook and a couple of videos, and I don't know if any of you actually had the time to take a peek at some of that stuff. And really, I just want to have a discussion about the fact that this e-bike explosion is it's universal. And there are a lot of counties who are applying resources towards education. And I think that if we look at those examples, and I was able to be on a webinar with the Office of Traffic Safety, which is a California agency. They provide grants. They're very small grants, but they'll provide grants for certain activities. And they did a webinar that shared the handbook, shared these two videos, and then had some other resources as well. And I thought, well, I'm just going to pick up these pieces and let's have a discussion about how we might be able to use some of this. One of the things that, and I'm just going to share this handbook. I think it's really well written. It was written by San Mateo County. We don't need to, reinvent the wheel here. We can just copy this, right? And work directly with the school district to get this out into the hands of parents and students. Um, this is just one great example. And then the other one is, I love this one. Can you see this one? E-bike for the holidays. Is it showing?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good. I'm never sure if when I switch a screen if it's going to show up. E-bike for the holidays, how to buy smart and ride legal. This is a great one. And while they seem like they're super long, like they're like an hour long, a lot of it has to do with questions at the end. So the real meat of it is up here in the beginning where they talk about the different kinds. This particular guy talks about some of the things that you can change on the bike to make them more faster. And he was saying you're going to see more and more and more of this. We could just buy a thing online and then put it on your bike, and now all of a sudden it goes faster. Um, this is super great information. This one, Parents Guide, again, very similar, where they talk about the different bikes, what makes it legal, what makes it not legal, make a thoughtful and informed decision. This is super great information, and I just want to have a discussion about how we could get this out into our community and get it. And here's one more thing that I did not send you, but I'm going to show it to you now. This is a Pedal Ace. It's an e-bike safety course. You actually pay for this. It's $119, and it's an online kind of a test. It's a certification. So, certificate of completion, and where kids take it on their own, and you can get this course. You can buy it in bulk. And this is another way where I think we could get the school district involved, maybe Bike Education or Bike Slow County, where we could buy some of these and maybe have this at the middle school and offer this to kids to take this certification course and be recognized. So, anyway, that's what I have to share with you. So I just want to open it up for discussion and see what you guys think, how this might be the most useful uh, way to pick up these resources.
Well, maybe a starting point might be with Julia. I think it's critical to get this information into the schools, particularly Los Osos Middle School. But
Hmm.
you also have, fifth graders at the elementary school who are on e-bikes and e-scooters as well. And one of the things that one of those videos that I watched talked about was that a lot of these kids riding these bikes, they have no clue about the laws of the road. And, they're out there just being wild and free and not realizing how dangerous it is. And so I think, starting with maybe start with Julia, but maybe contact the school district and we start there because I'm sure we're not the only ones that have some concerns about how to educate kids on e-bikes.
So I do know that there were a lot of complaints at the middle school about kids on e-bikes, and public health, Francine Levin put together a presentation, and she actually went to the Los Osos Middle School and did a presentation there. Um, that is also an agency that I think we could bring in public health, the school district, public health, SLOCOG, sheriff,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
If we could bring all of those together, um, all those stakeholders together, and maybe have sort of a conference or a symposium or something. Um, I'm just not sure. Well, you know, uh, public health could sort of direct us in the best way to get information out there because that's what they do.
Mhm. And
And
I
also,
mean, this is not just a Los Osos issue, obviously. It's sort of county-wide, so we ought to, at least bring it to the attention of our supervisors and say this is something that we're concerned about and that should be on the county agenda as well.
That's a very good point.
Yeah,
and
That's a
also
very
I mean,
good
parent,
point.
it's a nationwide
Right.
yes.
plague of sorts.
I mean, it seems like ideally you'd actually have e-bikes. E-bikes are just a place on a spectrum that goes between bicycles and motorcycles, and it's at a certain level there. You have to have a motorcycle license, which requires training and stuff like that. But it seems like ideally you'd have something that would be like a junior license that would be, you'd still have some sort of requirement for at least minimal training, but
Yeah,
that's
David, you're
that's
right.
that's a
And I
bigger.
think, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
you're making the best point is that regulations have not kept up with the e-bike world, the world of e-bikes.
Right.
And, um, you know, the fact that parents probably don't even know what they're buying when they go out to buy these bikes. You know, does it have a throttle? Does it not have a throttle?
Right.
Is it actually technically a motorcycle? And of course, the kid's going to want the coolest, fastest. So, making sure that's what I love about that holiday e-bike for the holidays, because you know that's going to be a Christmas present to a lot of kids. So, getting that information out there, and on the other hand, having the kids actually learn the rules of the road. We see it every day. You ride down Los Osos Valley Road, or my goodness, Jim and I have been in Morro Bay and we've seen kids just weaving around the streets without any care about traffic.
Right.
I, I it,
Right. It's also why this, I think the sheriff's office should be involved, because I mean, I suspect that there are a lot of things that are being ridden as e-bikes that are really class 3 e-bikes, uh, and and shouldn't be ridden. And so there's ultimately laws don't mean anything unless they're enforced. And so simply the sheriff's office, I'm sure this is the kind of thing I'm sure they'd be very, very slow to enforce. Um, but
but
it's
if
with the
there was a
enforcement.
junior license like you described,
Yeah.
then you wouldn't be able to ride that bike to school if you didn't have that,
Mhm.
right?
Or
Because the schools could
certification.
check it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Deborah, the other place that we could reach out to get this information out is the PTO organizations within the school district.
Oh, right. Parent teacher PTA.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's a good idea. Um, all right. So right now I have, well, Julia has a child in middle school and a child who's just starting TK at Monarch Grove. So she's kind of feeding both camps. Ryan Pinkerton at the school district, our supervisor, either Bruce or Jim D'Antona, either kind of, Bruce is kind of on his way out, so maybe Jim would be better. The sheriff, the PTA, and then maybe this kind of certification would be uh,
That's really a statewide issue, probably. I mean, it's probably not going to be a local. I mean, it'd be awfully hard to do a local permitting,
yeah, no, I don't think
driver's
you
license thing.
can, but I think you
Yeah.
could encourage this kind of a certification
Yeah.
By school.
where I don't know.
And I've been tracking a little bit of this. And it seems like on a national, statewide level, there's a lot of pushback on class 1, 2, 3 because it doesn't work.
Oh,
Right.
really?
Yeah. So the class 2 with the throttle
Right,
is where most of the trouble lies.
right.
And class 3, it may as well be class 1. And depending on who makes it, the pedal assist isn't very helpful. And other people's pedal assist is like woohoo! It's kind of a throttle with your feet. And so it really though is the class 2 that's where the trouble lies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the regulations are just going to have to change to adapt to. No, you can't have a motorcycle. You can't call it an off-road vehicle only and get away with it these days. There's who does that? Because
Yeah.
that's what
Well, you're right.
they're doing
No,
with these
that's
e-motos.
a good point.
Oh no, this is off-road only. That's how we're selling them.
Well,
And
you,
then
Yeah.
the kids are going up and down Los Osos Valley Road on it.
well, you look at this picture that Deborah has up in front of us right now, and look at those. The majority of those are basically they'll do 30 miles an hour plus. The only one that wouldn't do 30 miles an hour is the girl in the middle in the white. I forgot what that bike, but
Hmm.
that's a smaller one. Every one of these would do 30 miles an hour.
Right, right. None of them would qualify. And Europe, for since World War II, has had mopeds, and the rules for those are you don't need a license, you have to be 16, and it can't be more than, and this is dating it all, but can't be more than 50 cc's. That's that.
Well,
And
and I thought most of them now have a governor on them.
well, they probably do, but back in the day, that those were the rules. And I'm sure they've updated it and changed it, but it still applies. And you
Well,
see
that's the
these,
thing that I think one of the videos talks about that there is a modification that you can do to your bike that if it has a governor where it allows it to go faster than what it's supposed to go.
right,
And they're easily available online. And it just attaches to your bike and it turns it into, something totally different.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a big conundrum for, as you say, the state legislature. I mean, this really has to come through Sacramento if we're talking regulations. And a- and even just, when I was reading through some of this stuff, some of these you can go on a multi-purpose pathway like El Moro. You can ride, and then on some of these bikes, you're not allowed. You have to be in the street, or you can be on a sidewalk, or you can't be on the sidewalk. It's very confusing what you're allowed to do, to be honest with you.
Right. And as Ted pointed out, I mean, I think those distinctions, they don't really make sense because I mean, what makes the difference on whether you're on a bike path or not is really how fast you're going, not how fast your bike is capable of going. So I mean, you could certainly ride a class 3 electric bicycle safely on a bike path if you're going, 10 or 15 miles an hour, there's nobody on it. But you could be in a class 1 and going 20 miles an hour with people and with dogs and baby strollers, and you're dangerous too. So and you can't tell what kind of bike it is usually by looking at it. At least I can't, you know. So
Good point. So here's what I'm hearing is to work locally within our community and our county to pull together resources to both get information out to parents and to get resources out to the kids as far as education. So that's a kind of a two-prong attack there. But I also feel like we should be encouraging our representatives in Sacramento to do something. The Office of Traffic Safety is it's a California agency, and I could apply to get a grant, and we could use some, maybe we can get some money to do some of these resources, but I think we need to be reaching out to the people, um, like Don Addis or people like that who represent us and say, hey, we need you guys to start taking a look at this and taking some action because,
Deborah,
and
will you check out that committee that you just mentioned and see what the grant requirements are and how we can coordinate or utilize their resources to put the word out in our own community?
yeah, I think they're relatively small grants, but I will find out. I will find out what the grant um, process is.
I noticed that on the Critical Mass program is co-sponsored by Bike Slow County, and I was just looking at their website, and I don't see that they have anything on e-bikes on there. I'm wondering if, they could also be a group
Like
to
Slow
work with
County.
on this. Bike Slow County, yeah.
So here's Office of Traffic Safety, the California Office of Traffic. Um, let's see, grants. Grants. So you can submit applications. We have to have a 501(c)(3). We can get that, I'm sure. It has to relate to one of the priority program areas. So alcohol, distracted driving, drug impaired, emergency medical services, motorcycle occupant. Okay, here we go. Pedestrian and bicycle safety. Um, so I'll look at this some more. Uh, but they have um, they have a media room. They have a public relations where, you can get flyer publications. Let's see what that is. Strategic plan. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Events. Let's look at events. Yeah, so they did a California Teen Driving Coalition. So we could call our thing a coalition where we get together to talk about bikes. I'll look into this. I'll send out some information about this. Um, but I think that's a really good idea. And let's get some just what we already said, it's not just Los Osos, it's the whole county. It's not just the whole county, it's all the counties. They're all dealing with this problem. So we can reach out to, David was talking to me about reaching out to Cayucas and reaching out to Cambria. Their uh, advisory groups, their community advisory groups. And maybe that's one of the things we put on our discussion with them and say, we have this problem. Do you have this problem?
Yeah, it's a good thing to discuss.
Yeah. So we'll add that to our agenda for that. Any other ideas you have for me?
Yeah. While we're talking, I was looking to see if there are any new emerging models of e-bike regulation and stuff like that. And apparently a lot of the states this is a very active area, but most are following the sort of the three category thing. New Jersey just apparently now started classifying all e-bikes as motorized bicycles, and now they have to have driver's license and must register e-bike with a motor vehicle commission and carry liability insurance and stuff like that, which puts them really out of step with the rest of the country. But it seems like this is an area that a lot of places are trying to deal with in some way, probably some more intelligently than others.
Hmm.
Yeah, and for example, the national parks e-bikes are good, and national forests, no. Go figure.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd think the national
If it's
forest
a motorized
would
vehicle,
allow.
you can't do it on certain places in
Yeah.
the national forest. But
Hmm.
as far as the Park Service is concerned, no, it's not motorized. It's just, it's a bicycle with assistance.
Hmm.
So it's same bunch of people with two different ideas.
Hmm. Okay, well, we're going to dive into this a little bit more this year and see what we can do to, keep this out front. um, and and show some leadership in this area in terms of how we work with the school and, getting really getting involved. So I think reaching out to Bike Slow County is a really good idea. Um, Bike Slow County has money, and Bike Slow County already gives money to Bike Education. Bike Education is the county program. So when we look at the, where did it go? My little, so over here. Yeah, this little guy. So the money for this, the Kittical Mass or any of these group rides, comes from Bike Slow County because they fund bike education. And what it does is it covers the liability insurance for this event. Because you have, people leading the ride and all the gathering and all of that. So, but yeah, we're going to put something together. I think it'll be really cool. And it's already started. Like I said, public health already put together a talk for the middle school because they had so many complaints. So I'll start putting out feelers to these different groups and see if we can put something on the calendar and figure out a way for this to really come together.
Good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Is there
Sounds
anything
good.
else anybody wants to talk about? All right. Well, thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Thank you,
And
guys.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay, sounds
All right.
Thank
good.
you, Deborah.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.